Morning, it's the 28th of March. Where did March go? Anyway, just come down to see a field of spring barley, our last field of spring barley, what's going in this afternoon, hopefully, if I paddle on it and it's dry enough. But we've got, well, I'm pally with a rep from a company, and he approached us to do some trials for some new technology in the spraying world. And yeah, we leave him so many plots and he prats about with his new technology, and as you can see, I don't know what, it's top secret stuff, to be fair, and I don't know what has gone off in this, but you can see it's like a patchwork quilt where there's good bits, bad bits, burnt bits, where chemicals, the new technology has been too strong. But yeah, what going on there in that little square, I don't know, but there's a lot of research, because I don't know whether you can pick it out on camera, but there's a hell of a lot of different sort of growth stages, and where it's burnt it, where it's held its back, Christ, Richard, where the chemicals held it back. And yeah, but anyway, apart from the little bit of water damage here, which is a problem, always a problem, the rest of the field looks fantastic. But I think I'm gonna put, there is like a drain away dike here at side of the field, and it's not deep enough really, and I think after harvest I'm gonna bring our 360, and it does somehow, what it's finding, whether it's finding a seam of chalk or avoiding flint and gravel, I don't know, but it does seep away down here. And it wants the dike digging out, so it just keep, you know, so we can get rid of a bit of surface water, because there's always half an acre there wasted, and and quite regular, half an acre in this field. And also, Christ, it's in nice order though, and nice and level, and I haven't really made a mess with sprayer wheeling wise when I've desiccated the rubbish and the black grass what was here. So I think what I'm going to do with our Oliver is just send him with mowers and stitch a bit of seed in. I think that's the best option, so we don't disturb it too much. It's just a little bit unlevel, but it is very, very a little bit, and there's odd bit where it sprayers just dug its toes in a bit. But I think the pros and cons, like losing moisture at this time of year, you know, just stitch a bit of seed into this nice crumbly top would be the answer, and then roll it after and hope for best. This is where our Ollie was Simba soloing other day, and just that couple of days it's gone from sort of gnarly wet to lovely and crumbly. Whether we get chance to roll it today, but the KRM drill, Ollie says it was very slow going, but a couple of 3 hours he'll finish this one. And it has cost a bit diesel wise to put the seed in the ground, but I would say the seed has got nearly the best chance it could have to sort of grow and thrive, especially if we can get it rolled in something like time to conserve that moisture. But no, it's gone very, very well, and we've got a hell of a lot of picnic on, so you know, it's got everything in its favour. Sort of the drilling date, the conditions, the weather in the future is looking pretty promising. A few showers here and there, but quite settled. In fact, we spoke yesterday, me and Frank, about, hate to say it, but we'll soon we could soon do with a shower or two of rain, you know, a bit of rain to get stuff going now. But drilling spring 25, it's nearly come to an end. As I say, we've got that one at Numburnham to do, this one to finish, and then a couple at Latham to do, what I don't think have got into the SFI before they shut the door on it. So I think there's a couple of fields of oats down there, and then it's fodder beet and maize. But I don't think there's any rush. I think it's still cold this morning, you know. I know spring's in the air, but it's still very, very cold. But yeah, very pleased with that. Well done, Oliver. Yeah, it's a brilliant drill, is that caravan. In fact, I would say it's one of the best coulters on the market. That disc coulter is absolutely brilliant. I got back to the yard last night about 6 o'clock to a bloody disaster. In fact, I reckon it had been running all day. There's two tanks. There's a low tank for calves and a higher tank. And anyway, the lower tank had its, I don't know. Well, this bust off it. Its feed pipe, its metal feed pipe bust off it. And it'd been running all day, and it got to a point that the yard was full. And it was running under walls here. So first job what we have to do in among our cattle is get sort of 3 or 4 load of muck out. But what I'm worried about is there's gonna, unless we do it all, there's gonna be a big step from the high muck to the no muck, you know, to the fresh bedding. So, you know, when they're jumping off onto slate growing, so we'll have to put plenty of bedding in for a start so they don't slide about. Because its last thing we want is a cow with a splayed leg, because he's still active, he's warning. He's at him left, right and centre like. So I think we're going to be very, very tight calving for this batch. Obviously there's going to be the 5 over there what are going to be lagging behind, but I think this batch are going to be very, very tight next Christmas. So, but yeah, they've done fantastic. Eaten a lot of creep. These calves, we never bothered with creep last year, and someone says give your calves some creep. It just saves your mother, it saves the cows a bit, and pushes them calves on. And some of them are monsters. They really are. To say they aren't very old, to say they were just born at Christmas time, they aren't very old. They aren't very. They're very big for their age, like so. But yeah, very, very pleased with them. Talked about turning some out, but my dad ain't keen. Well, there ain't no grass, to be fair. We'd have to take food to them, because grass, with the nights being cold, the grass hasn't sort of sprung to life yet. But I don't know. It's not stuffy at all in this yard, but they're ready for frolicking in the meadow, sort of thing. We've got 9 heifers outside, and we wanted to keep them, but obviously they can't go to Warney, because Warney's their dad, and he would be too big anyway. But I mean, Warney's their dad. But we're just trying the combination of the Hereford heifers and a little Charolais bull. Just as, I don't know. It has been done on the internet, and they say it's a nice creature. But what's your cattle? What's your view, you cattlemen and women, on that combination? Hereford cow, Charolais bull. Would it be I think it'd be a big, sturdy, healthy, robust creature. Myself, you know, for the outside job. Because I don't know, I keep telling you we're talking about shed after shed, but we're on about putting the machinery shed on a back burner and putting an open yard up, like a shed probably similar size to that, but round it, it's over there, but round it'd have an outside area, so they could go in and out, and it'd be all hard standing, so we could scrape up, use a lot of sawdust, and you know, for the outside to keep them dry, and overwinter, you know, grow cattle on in an outside unit rather than in the field, so it's a little bit more safe for sort of not roaming about, going through electric fences and one thing or another. So yeah, Charolais cross Hereford. What do you think? Thought there was a bit of commotion and mooing in the yard this morning. We've got 3 calves out, and Daisy and Daniel towed up because Nikki's looking after Daisy today. And she says, "Calves out, Grandad, calves out." So yeah, with that bale fell down, and they've climbed out through the bars. Bloody hell, I left the, while I was buggering about, I left the spikes sort of about 2 foot off ground. Good job they were on a fair bit of an angle. One of them runs straight into the spikes, so you don't want to be eating that. Biff. Oh, you bloody idiot. Tell you what, stood on hard ground. Fairish calves, because that was quite a late one, 31. That was 10. That was the 10th calf, so that had been sort of, well, near on New Year. Excuse me. Yeah, nice little calf, innit? Right. Wait for them lot to come to work, and then we'll get them put back in. Phil was a bit rough with our ring feeder, what we use for Herefords, and they just made it nothing. This has had multiple repairs. We're forever replacing bars and welding them up. They're just crap. But this was a lightweight one, and I think we've just bought some off Mole Valley. Or Mort bought one because we were short of one for another yard. We usually make them square ones, but we just didn't. Oliver just didn't have time. So I ended up buying one. It was very reasonably priced actually, and I thought it would come like this, absolutely made of nothing. And it's come, and it's quite a good quality one. But this, look, I mean, they don't really weld it properly, you know. They're just made of very thin stuff, and if you're just a little bit rough with them, they just pull apart. Anyway, Phil lifted it up and bust 2 bars, and I thought, well, if we don't mend it for sake of 10 minutes welding, it'd be end of it, you know. But it's rum stuff to weld, because for one, it's covered in galvanised, so you have to get it semi-clean. But if you grind too much, you make it that thin, because the metal's that thin to start with, that you blow holes in it anyway. So, but she should do another, well, this year anyway, until cows go out. And but yeah, now it's meant to last, is it nowadays? Good. Ended up buying a calf creep, but this will go as a winter project, because next year we'll need 2. But yeah, we were on with making a calf creep, and we got to this stage, and then I went to a sale and bought one, a very, very good and pot-equipped one, and very, very reasonable money. So I've sort of wasted my time here, but I will finish it, because yeah, I like a little project like this, especially on them horrible winter days, which you're sort of getting out at weather, and you need just a workshop job or 2 for an hour or 2 to make you think your day's been worthwhile. Right, got that mended, got its pipe on. Phil's just finishing his mucking out. Then he's off to rip that 20 acre up and ready for maize and cover mucking, and ready for Jake on Monday to inject it with slurry. So she don't come out very often now, our little Claas teleport. It's just handy. I mean, Ollie's got the JCB down the lane filling it with the grain out with the seed opera. Phil's mucking up with that one. Well, I'd be knackered. So for what it's worth, I don't know. I think she's staying, like, because we cleaned her up to sell it, but I never got it entered in a sale, in the sale I favoured. And I just think I've got a lot of building projects coming up. I think she just got her place, really. I really do. I mean, God knows how many hours it's done. Hey, she's clocking them up again, because it stood stagnant at, it's done 9,500 hours recording, but it stood stagnant for I'm sure it was 8,700 for years. And I reckon she's done probably about 14 or 15,000 hours, this old girl. It's a class, it's badged up Claas, but it was one of the last TL6s ever made by when Claas bought Sanderson out. Brilliant loader. She's a bit steady on hydraulics, but I think that's cables rather than hydraulic pump. You know, the cables have got stretched, so you aren't getting full pull on the spool block, if you know what I mean. But yeah, she's been a very good old girl, this. Finishing off this bit of cultivating, Phil started last night, and anyway, we had diesel problems on this old girl, and so 2 new filters later, and we're away again. So I've just got an hour, and I just thought I'd get it. It's Saturday afternoon. I'll just get it finished, and then if Jake does want to come set his umbilical up on Monday, it'll all be in similar condition dry wise, if you know what I mean. And then it sort of paddles it so it crumbles rather than sticks back together, if you know what I mean. But no, it's going well, but that's taking some pulling. It really is. We're using 82% of her power, or yeah, 82% of her power. We've got 9% wheel slip, and she's using from 45 to 50 litres an hour, which is quite frightening. But we're a fair depth. We're a fair depth, and with the discs and the legs, we've got the legs in nearly full depth, so no wonder we're making a sing really. Some would say not really Maize Land, but by the time we've injected it with slurry. Prepared a seed bed. The only worry is if it comes really dry, it does disturb this. When you disturb it, it loses its moisture and goes to concrete. Yeah, going well, really. But yeah, it takes about a minute. We're doing under 40 litres an hour on this lighter soil. Don't know who's put that in. Look, operator Joe Biden. You don't want that silly old sod on seat, would you? Fantastic piece of kit, but they're seriously big long pins. We can't pull it very fast out of it. We've set the maximum revs for 1800, and we're at 3.6 miles per hour, but she's fairly on top of job. We don't like to thrash the guts out of it to get maximum work done. We'd rather the tractor be on top of job, so it isn't straining everything, you know. It's just sort of working at a steady pace rather than busting a gut, if you know what I mean. We did similar to the well, 2 fields over. It's drilled with wheat this year, but we had two crops of maize in it, and we mucked it both years and slurried it both years, and we think it's changed the soil quality from really horrible stodgy clay to a lot more loamy. You know, the biology in the soil has, I think, the biology in the soil has, we've kicked a process off in the soil, if that makes any sense, and it's totally different stuff. My opinion, if you farm without 40-yard muck or some kind of green waste, or you aren't putting any organic matter whatsoever in that, your soil will run out of steam. You know, if you're relying all out of back, that's what I'm trying to say. He's just got this one to finish off, twice round there in the back, and that's another one ticked off, and I would say it's gone perfect. It really is. In fact, I don't want leaving too long to lose all moisture out of it, because it's quite bright and windy. And 3 o'clock today it wants rolling, so we sort of conserve as much moisture as possible. But yeah, he's made a good job of that. He's got a muck hill bottom to do what was in sort of a downside of a field. What he just wants to pour a bit of seed in so it matches the rest of the field, if you know what I mean. And then swap drills onto the mowers, and he's up to slit a bit into some not so nice land, quite horrible clay, and I think it's the only way. If we start disturbing it, for one, we'll lose, as forecasters, we'll lose every bit of moisture, and for two, I think we'll make a lot of sour and horrible stuff to the top. So we're just going to sort of slice it in, and that's the excuse me, this is the field he did filled it with the mows the other day, and it's all sat in the bottom of its trough, and we have been monitoring it for slug purposes, to make sure slugs are sort of tunnelling down the trough, eating the new shoots off it, and it's all coming. It's starting to sort of germinate beautiful. So I'm hoping end of next week that's going to be absolutely bleached dead, with new lines of spring barley coming in it. I think we've done our job right there, I really do. It's nice to sort of tick a few boxes. Just had a word with Andy, our agronomist. He's having a walk this afternoon, so I want to collar him and see what's what. And next week the herbicide, first the spring herbicide job starts in barleys and our forward wheats, and get its second application of nitrogen on. We put 2 applications on the barley and 3 on the wheat. We just think wheat needs feeding a little bit more regular instead of a big hit. Just keep it flowing, sort of thing. Couple of budget cattle crushes there if anybody wants one. Very, very low money, 250 and 400. Good workable crushes. Just last job at day, I'm just waiting for someone, so I thought instead of just waiting and twiddling my thumbs, I'll put pipes back on this. Quite a big fan of copper grease. Every wheel what comes off and on this farm, we just put a little smidge of copper grease on. So the next time we have to do the same operation, everything goes a little bit easier. That's another marvellous thing we bought, the Milwaukee inch gun, but it's a total waste of time putting a 5 amp battery on it. You have to buy one like that, and they're about, I think that was about 140 quid, but I'm sure they're about 200 quid now. But I think these batteries are obsolete now. I think they've invented a better battery, a lot smaller battery with a lot more power. But yeah, inch gun, they aren't cheap, but stuff like this, I mean, helps us every day. So we sort of need some half decent stuff like. So right, that's another plug for Milwaukee. I was sponsored by Milwaukee, but if you do want to, go see my mate at Ribbon Farm Services, Adam. Well, Adam's at Market Wheat Department, or Market Wheat branch, and he looks after me with my Milwaukee stuff now. Quite competitive on price, does all your warranties for you, and yeah, and he's a good lad. So yeah, go see Adam. But yeah, right, on that note, get rid of me man, I'm off to sit in front of the fire because it's in real warm. The clocks go back tonight, or forward, whatever they do. Clocks go forward tonight, don't they? Bloody hell. Right, on that note, bye for now.